We are talking hidden treasures here, and I've got Targa Exploration. I've got Cameron Tymstra here, and he is the president, CEO of this operation. They trade as TEX on the CSE in Canada. TRGEF is the call sign on the OTCQB in the States. Cameron, I appreciate you taking the time here, and I guess looking forward to telling me about Targa Exploration here off camera. Here, you gave me a little of your background, something else you're working on, but you've been tasked with this. You're looking for lithium. You've got a heck of a treasure hunter there with Sean Ryan, very successful, looking for lithium. Tell me a little bit about the company.
So Targa is a pretty new company. We just listed last year, I think in September. I came on board sort of this spring of this year. And since the end of last year, what the company's really tried to do is transition to being specifically a lithium focused company. So in the last sort of 8 months or so, the company's built up a portfolio of 10 early stage grassroots lithium exploration projects, all located in Canada. Those 10 projects are spread across 4 provinces from Saskatchewan over to Quebec. We picked up some of those assets from really world-renowned explorers and mine finders, as you mentioned, Sean Ryan. We acquired 3 projects from Sean in Quebec earlier this year. Sean's been applying his sort of geochemistry approach that he's been very successful in discovering gold deposits with in the Yukon, now applying that approach to search for lithium in areas across Canada where currently there are no lithium discoveries, but areas that seem to have this geochemistry and geology that could be quite favorable to host those. So we're really going out here and trying some new things with Targa in terms of where we're exploring, but making sure that we're partnering with the best guys like Sean Ryan. We picked up a couple assets from Kenorland Minerals as well. Very extensive prospect generators and explorers, particularly in areas like Quebec and Ontario. So we picked up a very big project from them in Quebec called Apanaca. And that's located about 40 kilometers south from Patriot Battery Metals' giant Corvette discovery that they made 1 or 2 years ago there. And they just put out a resource on a couple of weeks ago as well. I think over 100 million tons of really, really nice grade lithium mineralization in their pegmatite. So certainly in the right neighborhood there. Rio Tinto also just did, I think, 2 different option agreements, very high value ones as well for properties neighboring to us and at Apanaca as well with, I think, Azimuth Exploration in Midland. So there's certainly some big players looking in this region as well. And what's particularly exciting about that is our property, Apanaca, is outside of the traditional sort of greenstone belt trend where PMET's discovery was made. We're in sort of the metasedimentary units just to the south. But so are those assets that Rio Tinto just optioned into as well, doing the joint venture there. So really exciting to see some people look in these regions as well. So we've got a big portfolio. Like I said, I think we have over 275,000 hectares. We own those projects outright as well. And this summer, we're going to be doing our first phase work, trying to hit as many of these projects as we can to do an initial assessment on the geology that's there, especially in areas where we have very limited historic data, getting our big crews on the ground there to thoroughly investigate them, look for pegmatites on the ground, assess the host geology, and be able to sort of hone in on which projects and which areas of projects have the most potential to host these sorts of lithium deposits.
Yeah, well, you got some nice neighbors there, certainly. So you seem like you're in the right area. You got some good projects here. You got some financings opening. So talk to us about here. You're hunting the treasure. From up, I guess, on the ground here, we're going to try to hunt the treasure with you via the symbol. So let's carve out a message here for investors here. A nice land package, great neighbors, raising some money, doing the preliminary field work. Well, to talk to investors that see an opportunity in this market that is really giving them one.
Yeah, I mean, lithium right now is probably one of the only elements you can really raise money on, where companies are still seeing strong valuations. We were discussing earlier before you hit the record button just how tough it's been for the junior resource sector for both precious metals and base metals across the board here, even for companies that are very successful in what they're doing and making big discoveries. So lithium does seem to be sort of the standout amongst them, and in terms of the valuations that the market is giving you these sorts of companies, and really recognizing the value that you can create with these types of lithium discoveries here, and the current demand and future demand for that element. We're seeing a push across the board, not just from companies and geologists and explorers and investors, but from governments and big corporations that ultimately are planning on using lithium in their products, particularly for the electric vehicle market in North America, trying to get involved all the way up the food chain right down to the discovery level and the actual deposits themselves, which is something we really haven't seen before from large corporations. So really seeing that interest from across the board, particularly for lithium, has got us really excited, and why we're putting all of our eggs in this basket to get out there and look for this element. And but we want to make sure that we get as many shots on net as possible, and that's why we have a massive portfolio with 10 projects. We're always evaluating new projects as well, so we could likely be acquiring new assets in the future. Obviously, they're not all going to be slam dunks, but they certainly don't need to be. We really just need one of them to be a slam dunk, but we want to make sure we get as many shots on net as possible, thoroughly investigate them from an early stage, low cost operation that we can, and sort of pick out the best ones that have the most potential to push those forward into further phases of exploration.
Okay, well, we'll certainly look forward to tracking the success. Sounds like a busy operation here. And I guess first step, get that money raised. We'll keep our eye on that and look forward to checking back in. That's Cameron Tymstra there. He runs the show over at Targa Exploration, TEX, and the CSE, TRGEF, call sign OTCQB in the States. Cameron, appreciate that in-depth update. And we'll certainly look forward to checking back in when you close up the financing and really get to work.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it.